history. So I thought it'd be cool to do some history fun facts. And of course, I'm always chewing my gum. Always gotta chew the gum. So sit back, relax, and let's have some fun. Okay, so the first one is, during World War II, a Great Dane named Juliana was awarded the Blue Cross Medal. She extinguished a bomb by peeing on it. Okay, Juliana, go ahead. She extinguished the bomb by peeing on it. There you go. You go ahead. Alexander the Great was accidentally buried alive. Scientists believe Alexander suffered a neurological disorder, and they believe that when he died, he was actually just paralyzed and mentally aware. Oh my gosh, isn't that crazy? That is so crazy. Wow. Buried alive. Wow. But he was just paralyzed and mentally aware. That's scary. That's super duper scary. Okay. There were female gladiators in ancient Rome. A female gladiator was called a gladiatrix, and they were extremely rare, unlike their male counterparts. Wow. Go ahead, y'all. Go ahead. Okay, the most successful pirate in history was a lady named Shang Shi. Her name was Shang Shi, and she was a prostitute in China until the commander of the Red Flag bought and married her. But her husband considered her his equal, and she became an active pirate commander in the fleet. Go ahead, Shing Shing. Go ahead, girl. She was a prostitute and then got married, and then she became a pirate commander in the fleet. You go, girl. Hey, that's this. Now it's all about. It's not about where you start. It's about how you finish, and she finished pretty good. So you go ahead, girlfriend. Go ahead. And also, the movie The Avengers was also a group of Jewish assassins who hunted Nazi war criminals after World War II. They poisoned over 2,000 German prisoners of war. Wow. Now that's interesting. That's really interesting. Okay, from 1912 to 1948, the Olympic Games held competitions in the fine arts. Medals were given for literature, architecture, sculpture, painting, and music. That's cool. That's really cool. You know what? They should bring that back. They should bring that back for the Olympic Games. You know, like have like a different day and time, and you know, for that, because you know there's so many people that's so good, you know, in fine arts. You know, they should be also, you know, observed also. You know, I think that's cool. That's really good. They need to bring that back. Okay, a famous conqueror, Napoleon Bonaparte, was attacked by a horde of bunnies. He had requested that a rabbit hunt be arranged for himself and his men. When the rabbits were released from the cages, the bunnies charged toward them in an unstoppable onslaught. So, Napoleon and his men, they were attacked by Easter bunnies. They were attacked by Easter bunnies. some were hanged, but none of them were burned alive. So I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that came from, because and when you watch those witch hunt movies, you always see those witches burned on the stakes and all that. But apparently they weren't burned. They were just jailed and hanged. Not that that makes a big difference. They're still still kind of hurt and everything. But whatever. Let me just move on. Okay, listen to this. Andrew Jackson had a pet parrot, and he taught his parrot Polly to curse like a sailor. There's even one legend that the parrot had to be taken out of the Jackson's funeral because of his profanity. That parrot had a potty mouth. That parrot had a potty mouth. That's funny. The Bloody Mary was not always called a Bloody Mary. First, the popular brunch drink was actually called a bucket of blood. After a bucket of blood, it transitioned to Red Snapper and finally settled on Bloody Mary. Well, I'm glad they changed their name, because who wanna order a drink and call it a bucket of blood? A bucket of, you're at the restaurant and you wanna order a drink and you tell the waiter, oh yeah, I want a bucket of blood. I'm glad they changed that name to Bloody Mary. Okay, in the ancient Olympics, athletes performed naked. This was to achieve closeness to the gods and also help detox their skin through sweating. They were doing the Olympics naked. Oh my goodness, wow. I'm glad the Olympics are now wearing clothes, because nobody wants to see all of that. We don't want to see all that. Oh no. Okay, in 1386, a pig was executed in France. In the Middle Ages, the pig attacked a child who went to die later from their wounds. The pig was arrested, kept in prison, and then sent to court, where it stood trial for murder. The pig was found guilty and then executed by hanging. Okay, why are you gonna do all of that? Why are you gonna do all that? You gonna do all that? Child, please, just kill the pig. Why are you gonna arrest the pig? You gonna arrest the pig and keep him in prison, and then the pig had to go to court. Did the pig have a lawyer? Did the pig have a public defender? Oh my god! And they killed the pig by hanging him. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Okay, sometimes people just do too much. That was not even all necessary. Like, you did all that. But anyway, okay. During the Great Depression, people made clothes out of food sacks. People used flour bags, potato sacks, and anything made out of burlap. Because of this trend, food distributors started to make their sacks more colorful to help people remain a little bit more fashionable. All right, go and get your food. Go get your food sacks on. We're going out to dinner. We're going out to dinner, so make sure you put your food sack on. Get your food sacks on. Okay. The tug of war used to be an Olympic sport. It was part of the Olympic schedule between 1900 and 1920 and occurred 5 different summer Olympic Games. The nation to win the most medals in this was Britain with 5 medals, then the U.S. with 3. Okay, all right. I love me some tug of war. We used to play tug of war in gym class. I love me some tug of war. Russia ran out of vodka, celebrating the end of the World War II. When the long war ended, street parties engulfed the Soviet Union, lasting 4 days until all the nation's vodka ran out. So they stopped partying. When the vodka ran out. When the vodka ran out, they stopped partying. Hey, the liquor's gone, so y'all gotta go home. Oh my gosh, these are really some good ones. These are some good ones. Okay, for over 30 years, Canada and Denmark has been playfully fighting for control over a tiny island near Greenland called Hans Island. Once Swan, who was 7'11", and Martin Van Buren Bates was 7'9". When she gave birth, the baby was 22 pounds. Oh my gosh, 22 pounds. That's not an infant. That's a 9-month-old baby. But can you imagine? She was 7'11", 7'11", 7'11", 7'11", and her husband was 7'9". Oh my gosh! Wow. Oh my gosh! Wow! Wow. Johnny Appleseed was a real person. His name was John Chapman, and his hometown was Leominster, Massachusetts. He also had a street named after him. And the street name was Johnny Appleseed Lane. Did you know that? I always thought Johnny Appleseed was a made-up name, a fictitious name, but that was a real person. Okay, 14 years before the infamous Titanic sank, Arthur Morgan Robertson wrote The Novelty of Fertility. It was about the large unsinkable ship Titan hitting an iceberg in northern Atlantic. What's even weird is the Titanic and the fictional Titan did not have enough lifeboats for the thousands of passengers on board. Isn't that something? In his book, he didn't have enough life jackets. And then in the movie, and in real life, they didn't have enough life jackets. Oh my gosh. So maybe if he had enough life jackets in his book, when they actually really happened, they would have had enough life jackets, and maybe all those people wouldn't have died. I don't know, but that's a coincidence. That's kind of creepy too when you think about it. Okay, using forks used to be seen as sacrilegious. The widely used eating utensils were once seen as blasphemous and offense to God. Why? Because they were artificial hands, and as such were considered to be sacrilegious. Wow. So using forks wasn't a good thing back in the day. Wow. Okay. Mary indeed had a little lamb. Her name was Mary Sawyer. She was an 11-year-old girl who lived in Boston, and one day was followed to school by her pet lamb. In the late 1860s, she helped raise money for an old church by selling wool from the lamb. What? That is so cool. So Mary really did have a lamb. Wow. And that's cool. And that's history right there. Back in the 16th century, the wealthy elite used to eat dead bodies. It was rumored that cadavers could cure diseases. The highest delicacy was Egyptian mummies. Okay, that's nasty and that's weird. They used to eat dead bodies because it was rumored that the cadavers could cure diseases. You're eating dead bodies, you're gonna get diseases. If you eat dead bodies, you're gonna get diseases. It's not gonna cure diseases, you're gonna get a disease. Wow. Winston Churchill typically smoked 8 to 10 cigars a day, sometimes as much as 15. During the American Prohibition, he would get a doctor's note saying he needed to drink indefinite amounts of alcohol when he would come to see and visit the States. Oh my gosh! Wow. 100 million years ago, the Sahara Desert was inhabited by galloping crocodiles. Back then, the Sahara Desert was a lush oasis full of life and full of predators. In 2009, fossil hunters found the remains of crocodiles that had large, land-going legs that were capable of galloping across the land at breakneck speeds. Okay, that's creepy. Nobody need to see that. Nobody need to see that. John Adams and Thomas Jefferson, founding fathers and the second and third presidents of the United States, died within hours of each other on July 4th, 1826, the 50th anniversary of the adoption of the Declaration of Independence. Adams' last words were, "Jefferson lives," unaware that his old friend had died earlier that day. Oh, wow. The South African Railway once employed a baboon. In his 8 years of service, he never made a single mistake. Ancient Egyptians used slabs of stone as pillows. In ancient Egypt, the head was considered to be a seat of the spiritual life and had to be cared for. Therefore, when getting into bed, the Egyptians would place their head on a stone with a curve in it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Those poor Egyptians. They had to use stones as pillows. Oh my gosh. I know they woke up every day with a headache. During World War II, Americans called hamburgers Liberty Steaks. This was because hamburgers sounded a little too German. Also, during World War II, sauerkraut was redubbed as cabbage. Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright, if you say so. Iceland was the world's oldest parliament in history, called the Althing. It was established in 1930 and has stayed as the acting parliament of Iceland since then. Interesting. Alexander the Great named over 70 cities after himself. Alexander the Great conquered over 2 million square miles of Earth's surface, all by the time he was 30. So naming cities after himself was so much deserved. Oh, let me tell you something. If I conquered over 200 million square miles of Earth, all the cities gonna be named after me too. They gonna be named Minty. They gonna be named Minty Mint Peppermint. I would do the exact same thing. So go ahead, Alexander the Great. I would do exactly the same thing. Cleopatra was the first member of our dynasty to speak ancient Egyptian. She was also able to speak 8 languages, including ancient Greek, ancient Iranian, ancient Parthian, Syriac, Ethiopian, Hebrew, Arabic, and Troglodyte. Wow, you go, girl. Go ahead, Cleopatra. She's speaking those languages. Go on, girl. Oh my gosh. Shakespeare originated the "Yo Mama" joke in his play Titus Andronicus. One of the characters exclaims, "Thou hast undone our mother," to which another character, Aaron, replies, "Villain, I have done thy mother." Okay, so that came from the Yo Mama joke came from Shakespeare. Yo Mama. Alright, well, let me wrap this up. But thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Please continue to watch my videos, comment and like and subscribe. And you doing all that helps me to make more videos. But thank you so much. Thank you so much. God bless you all. And I'll see you at the next history